The Su-34, a fighter bomber nicknamed Fullback of the Russian Aerospace Forces, is considered by military experts to be a special case in today's fighter lines, with its unique mission and design thinking from the Cold War era. The impressive feature on this fighter is the ability to carry a large amount of fuel, allowing it to perform extremely long-range missions, even without needing to refuel in the air. It is no exaggeration to say that the Su-34 is a fuel king in today's fighter jets. The Su-34 is developed on the basis of the Su-27 heavy fighter, so it has a relatively strong air-to-air capability. Russian researchers have been developing and optimizing the attack capabilities of the Su-27 since 1977, with the goal of making the most of the fighter's fuselage design and combining it with a dedicated avionics system. At that time, Russia gave priority to the Su-24, so the Su-27 was not used. This only changed in 1986 when the Su-27IB bomber variant was introduced with the SH-141 phase array radar. This was a radar developed for the Sukhoi T-60s. Su-27IB was later renamed Su-34. The aircraft retained much of the original fuselage and engines, but the front fuselage was armored and adjusted so that the pilot and weapons officer sat side by side. The tail section was also increased in size. The Su-27IB was expected to be a perfect upgrade of the Su-24. The Su-24 has a relatively limited range. When fully armed, it only has a combat radius of about 370 miles. When flying at low altitudes, the Su-24 can only reach a top speed of 745 miles per hour. The plane can only hit targets 90 to 180 miles from the front line, far behind its American counterpart, the F-111, which had a range of up to 1,800 miles with 2 AGM-69 guided missiles and 4 extra fuel tanks. The disadvantage of the Su-24's combat range was overcome by the appearance of the Su-27IB, later renamed Su-34. The original Su-27 heavy fighter was capable of carrying 27,700 pounds of fuel, giving the plane the ability to fly up to 2,300 miles when unarmed. For the Su-34, the amount of fuel in the fuselage is increased to 26,676 pounds of fuel, along with the ability to refuel in the air. However, the range of the Su-34 without refueling is still highly appreciated and is a very important factor because refueling aircraft are usually only served for long-range combat aircraft, rarely used for tactical aviation aircraft such as the Su-34. To overcome the above problem, the Su-34 is equipped with 3 additional PTB-3000 fuel tanks with 5,286 pounds of fuel each, more than the total internal fuel load of an F-5E fighter with 4,516 pounds. and close to the US F-16 fighter with 7,000 pounds. This allows a single Su-34 bomber to carry a total of 40,988 pounds of fuel, enough for 400 cars with 17-gallon fuel tanks or 6 F-16's internal fuel tanks. Remember, the US F-15 East Tri-Eagle Heavy Fighter can only carry a maximum of 35,550 pounds of fuel. With a huge amount of fuel that can be carried, the Su-34 has a maximum range of up to 2,485 miles, almost half the length of Russia, allowing them to perform missions far from their bases. Even carrying 6 1,100-pound bombs, along with 4 air-to-air missiles and an extra fuel tank, the Su-34 can still achieve a range of 1,864 miles at high altitudes and 1,087 miles at low altitudes. The long range and large payload allow the Su-34 to perform tasks such as attacking command posts, communication and logistics deep in enemy's herd, as well as cutting supply lines for forward forces. At the moment, the Su-34 is only used in combat in Syria, but if Russia launches a military campaign against Ukraine, the Su-34 is likely to be deployed.